Hey there, I'm Jackie Ferris. This week on the 302, we are at Sunny Brae Mansion in Milford, Delaware for a spine-tingling paranormal experience. We're hooking up with the Phantom detectives as they investigate this iconic mansion with a 75-year history of paranormal activity. Get ready, the 302 is headed your way. Hey there, we are at Sunny Brae Mansion for a paranormal experience. I'm joined now by Phantom Detectives founder Joshua Charles. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be at this beautiful location and to be with you guys and your viewers. I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing paranormal experience at every opportunity that we get.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about Sunny Brae Mansion. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's got a lot of history. Tell me about the history behind it.
Yes, Sunny Brae Mansion was built in 1937 by a guy named Edward Monk Davis. And Mr. Davis, of course, was connected to the DuPont family. He was a well-known lobbyist, and a lot of times some of the DuPonts actually would come down here like in order to you do meetings with Mr. Davis, and so obviously the DuPont family was very connected, and the place has over 75 years of paranormal history as well. So this place is very significant, and according to Mr. Macaulay, the owner of Sunny Brae Mansion, it's called the Jewel of Milford, Delaware.
Oh, that's really cool. So you talk about the history of paranormal activity. There have been a lot of families that lived in this house, and there have been some people that have passed here, is that right?
Yes, and a lot of times, supposedly, a lot of people have reported seeing different apparitions in the mansion, as well as, obviously, supposedly, the second owner that actually owned it reported, obviously, he supposedly had his dog, and supposedly started seeing the spirit of Mr. Davis himself residing within the walls of the mansion, as well as the wife of Mr. Davis as well. So basically this place had a lot of people come and going. It was a very busy place in the Port of Delaware, a ton of merchants and travelers and a lot of bed and breakfast. So it was a very busy place in the 1940s, and it has that kind of Gone with the Wind kind of feel. So it was very busy in those days.
It really does have that. You mentioned Gone with the Wind. It does. It has this vibe of elegance, but at the same time, and maybe it's just the context for which we're visiting of the show, you kind of get like an uneasy feeling when you come here.
Yes, it sure is. And we were here last December investigating here, and we reached out to Mr. Macaulay, obviously through his website, sunnybraemansion.com. And the reason we had to come here was there was another paranormal team here. They didn't capture much, so we set up more equipment and we set up more various areas, and we actually picked up several EVPs in different parts, obviously in different rooms of the mansion, as well as we also picked up on, obviously, several thermal images in the barbershop area downstairs in the rec room, where basically we started picking up on thermal cameras where handprints were picking, and obviously no one had touched those obviously wine bottles in the basement. So this place has so much history, and supposedly there has been people seeing also a servant lady down in the basement that supposedly was haunting. She might have been a servant from the Edward Monk Davis's family.
That's amazing. So, I mean, you seem to have a lot of knowledge in this area. You're an expert. This is what you do.
Yes.
So talk to me, how did you get into becoming a paranormal investigator?
Yes, for me, it was early days. Obviously, Unsolved Mysteries of Robert Stack when I was a 3-year-old kid in 1987. Watching an episode called The Haunting of the General Wayne Inn, and of course also In Search of by Leonard Nimoy, who was Spock from Star Trek. He was pretty much one of the first true paranormal television shows. So those two shows, combined with reading every book by America's first ghost hunter, Dr. Hans Holzer, who obviously was pretty much like his inspiration for his books, created the movie Ghostbusters. So it was a very natural experience that I got involved in the paranormal in the early years. And of course, listening to Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, obviously, and that was also, made my journey complete. So, all those experiences, and I started watching all the shows on television from Ghost Hunters to Ghost Adventures, and I said, I'm going to start my own team in 2020, and that became the genesis of where we're at now.
Fantastic. Now you do have your own team, and we're going to go inside. I know you guys are on pins and needles to see what's happening inside. So when we return, we're going to check out a paranormal experience and meet the rest of the team. Stay with us.
I'm Samara Weaver, an artist in Delaware, and I love how the 302 supports the arts.
Okay, so in segment 1, we met Joshua Charles, who is the founder of Phantom Detectives. Now let's meet the rest of the team. Introduce yourself to us.
Hi, I'm Melissa Ferrazano. I am Phantom Detectives psychic medium.
And I am Rick Warner. I am the lead investigator of Phantom Detectives. I'm the director of client relations, and I'm also the tech manager.
So let's talk a little bit about paranormal investigations. Everybody has a job. So Melissa, what is your job whenever you guys go out on an investigation?
So my job is to go into each investigation blindly. And what I mean by that is I prefer to have no prior knowledge of the backstory of these locations. I would like to go in there and see what I am tuning into, picking up on, and I would like to know if it actually matches the backstory of this location, of the history of these locations that we investigate.
So have you ever gone to a place and just been shocked by what you found? Because you know, some of these things can have some energy that's pretty powerful.
Yes. Many of times I've gone into these locations and I would walk in the door and feel overwhelmed, almost like I've been hit by a tidal wave, because there will be so many spirits in a location, and sometimes it's just it's a lot energetically. So I will find myself having to step outside, regroup, take some deep breaths, go back in and start from the beginning, and take it one step at a time.
So now, as the lead investigator, talk to me about your role and you know, what it takes to you know, see if there's any paranormal activity.
I work with Joshua as, so if Joshua wasn't able to make it to an investigation type of thing, then I would run the investigation by myself and set everything up and come in to investigate the place. I'm also the tech manager, and I work with different pieces of equipment.
Joshua, talk to me a little bit about what your role is whenever you go on an investigation.
Sure. So my role is, obviously, when I go on an investigation, is to scout for haunted locations that might be interesting to us and fascinating with a really interesting history. So obviously, as a team historian, I'm always looking for places that obviously have a history of paranormal activity, as well as they're historically significant in the county or state that we're going to. So I go to a website called theshadowlands.net, which has a database of haunted locations, and I go research there, and obviously once I find a location that has an interesting backstory, I go ahead and, you know, call the location, say, hey, can we come in and do an investigation? There might be some, you know, this place has got a lot of history and our team is very well known and we would love to have the opportunity to investigate here. So as a team historian, I love finding the haunted locations, and then sometimes we'll have business owners and obviously location owners contact us through our website, and it'll go right to Melissa. She's also serves as case manager, where she handles booking the investigations for us if she gets a particular client. So it's very important, I think, to have a good knowledge of the history of these locations, and on almost every single place that we've been, we've picked up numerous, obviously, various pieces of activity as well.
So let's talk a little bit about, you get a site, you scout a site, you know a little bit of the history, you don't know any of the history, you're getting all the equipment together. What is are there rules? Is there a method? Do you follow a pattern?
Basically, when we go into investigation, before we even go there, we want to make sure that it's a place that we feel that it could be a potentially good place to investigate, to capture activity. So we also, before we even get started, we go through, we speak to the client that's interested in an investigation, we do a client interview and try and establish credibility with this person if we feel could in fact this person actually have paranormal activity. And then if we feel that it's a good place to investigate, then we'll make arrangements to go down there. We'll bring our equipment in. We'll set up our DVR system, our cameras and stuff in the room, and different devices. And one of the things that I want to mention too is that we've been very successful as far as capturing paranormal activity. One of the things that we do when we're doing spirit communication is we don't go to the spirits and just demand that they give us answers or demand that they do things for us, but rather you want to treat the spirits as if it's their own home. So we go in very, respectful, and we also thank the spirits after they do communicate with us and they give us answers. So that's a big part of it.
Have you ever been afraid?
Have I ever been afraid? I would say I have felt a little spooked. And I would say the scariest locations that we have investigated were people's homes. Because some folks have activity that affects them in such a negative way, and going into their home, we feel it as well. And I know that when I'm feeling it and picking up on that something not friendly is there, to proceed with caution. There have been rooms in people's homes that I've gone in where you just know that you're not welcomed there. It seems like they like to hang out. I know it sounds very stereotypical, but in the basement, the attic, it seems to be the place where they want to be left alone and really are claiming their space. This is theirs. And again, you're not welcome there. For the most part, in these historic locations, I'm not usually afraid because it is usually the prior owners that are here, and they're usually very welcoming.
The folks that you run into, or the spirits that you run into, do they think that they still live here?
I do feel that a lot of them may not know that they are deceased. A lot of them like to hold on to their belongings that are still here. They're comfortable here. They lived here for a long time. Their memories were made here. So, and I feel that spirits like to tell their story. That's why they welcome us in here. And because we come into their homes respectfully and we treat it like it's their homes, we're usually successful as far as them wanting to talk to us.
Sometimes too, you'll have spirits that are just passing through. So it could be like a really old hotel, let's say, or maybe maybe it's like a barn or a bar area or something like that, to where it took place back in the 1700s, 1800s, and they would come through, let's say, like on a stagecoach or something like that. And now maybe they didn't really live there on that property or pass away there, but sometimes they're just like a visitor. They're just passing through. Maybe they came through at one time and just stayed overnight at that place, and they're just a passer through, and then they just come in and then just leave.
So I know that the folks at home are really excited to see you guys in action. So when we return, we're going to get out the equipment and see if there's any paranormal activity at Sunny Brae. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Heather Moctaderi, guest curator of Nature of Gothic at Rockwood, and I love the fresh perspective offered by the 302.
Wow, so this isn't spooky at all. This is really a great space.
Yeah, it really is. And we caught a lot of paranormal activity the last time that we were here. And we caught paranormal activity around the bar area.
Okay.
And pretty much most of the areas in these rooms.
So let's see what we have.
Well, I got some dowsing rods here, and I'm going to turn these on so you'll be able to see those. It's got a blue neon light so you can see those better. So I'm going to ask the dowsing rods if there's any spirits present that want to communicate with us. And I'm not going to move these. I'm going to just ask the spirit world to move these. But if there is a spirit here in this room, one or more spirits, please cross the dowsing rods forward. There you go. And can you please set the dowsing rods back to the starting point? Okay, so now to the right of me is JC, the host of our show. And I'm going to ask you, can you point the dowsing rods on the right to where she's at in this room?
Wow.
That's pretty cool, right?
That is cool.
Yeah, can you please move that dowsing rods forward? Can you point to Joshua, the guy next to me on the left? Thank you. Can you please reset that back? So we definitely got paranormal activity here. You can see that we captured.
And Joshua, you have a
Spirit
meter. What have you
activity.
got there?
This is a EMF meter. This used to belong to a paranormal investigator named Ryan Buell from Paranormal State. And obviously what this does is pick up electromagnetic fields. So obviously, as we know, spirits let off energy. And the law of energy states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but moved from one form to another. So obviously this picks up all the electromagnetic energy. So obviously if there
So are you seeing anything? Is anything registering?
obviously it was going up to 3 during Rick's dowsing rod sessions, but obviously we'll have to continue to look. But I also have a thermal imaging camera where obviously this picks up hot and cold signatures for your viewers.
Put the camera on me, yeah,
Sure.
and let him get that.
Sure.
And anyway, this is what it looks like when you could see this, all the hot spots, the red spots on my skin. That's all measure of the body heat. But sometimes the spirits will try to cross paths and get into the picture that you're taking. We go around and snap pictures with the thermal camera.
Yep.
So what does the room look like now with the thermal imaging?
Very cold. Very cold.
And what does that mean?
Obviously, there could be spirit activity in this, obviously, part.
What's interesting, Joshua, is we're picking up paranormal activity right now. There's a hot spot right there.
Yeah, and there's no one near there.
And it's all cold around there. That's right. Let's see, where would you point to where that's at? It's probably
So
right there.
Melissa, are you feeling anything? There's a
Yeah.
hot spot over there. Are you?
So what I'm feeling is there are quite a few spirits down here, but there is one in particular who has been very significant since I've entered this location. And she's a woman, and she's dressed in, I want to say like a Victorian dress. I want to say that she lived here at one point in time. What I'm picking up about her is that she is walking around, she's serving everybody, she's a hostess. I'm also, what I'm picking up from her, as far as what she is telling me, is that she loved to sing, she liked to play the piano, she may have been I feel that she was a musician. That was her passion. But I feel that, she's very much present in this room, that she likes to make sure the guests have everything they need. This was a place of entertainment at one point in time.
So this is amazing. You guys do this kind of thing all the time, and you have a website. So if someone wants to watch, because you record your investigations, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah. I
Right,
do all
so-
the filming, recording, and yeah.
So all they have to do is go to phantomdetectives.org
Yes.
to check it out.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you guys spending time with us and, showing us how your equipment works and giving us a little taste. And I know that there's so much more that people can check out on your website. So thank you very much.
Thanks for
Yes,
having
thank
us on
you.
board.
You are absolutely welcome. And we'll be right back. So, what do you think of our paranormal experience? Yay or nay? If you happen to visit Sunny Brae Mansion or any of the sites that the Phantoms Detectives have investigated, snap a picture and share it with us on the 302's Facebook page. Now, here are some other things you might want to check out. For more information on Phantom Detectives and their investigative work, you can visit phantomdetectives.org. That'll do it for this spine-tingling episode of The 302. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, where you'll get behind-the-scenes content you just won't get anywhere else. We're going to leave you now with some amazing video of Sunny Brae Mansion. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on The 302.
I guess they don't want to talk to me.
Is there a female spirit present with us today? Please cross the dowsing rods forward. Yeah, sometimes they get a little shy, like they may not.
Because I'm new.
They get a little temperamental, that kind of thing. So sometimes you'll kind of get that. And it doesn't mean, like, if somebody doesn't work for them right away, it doesn't mean that you failed or there's not paranormal activity. Because the spirits are going to choose when and they want to react with you and how they're going to react.
Are you guys trying to make me feel better now?
Yes.
Oh, see.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.